Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today is Tuesday. So, not only have I come sliding in from a full day of community day, now that I've taken on homeschooling my youngest, it was Patriots Day, thus red, white, and blue, and my wonderful hat, which I'll tell you guys about the response to that later. But we had a great day and we've got even more great information. Amy has been working feverishly. There's a list. She's going to educate us all with a fire hose. So we'll be right back. Give us a like, share this video, and thanks to everybody joining us in the chat. Hi, Amy. Happy belated Patriots Day.
Yes.
And happy Tuesday to you. Good to see you.
Good. Yeah, it's great to be here, Lisa. For everybody, I was just talking, we were chatting, Lisa and I, before the show, and she kind of blows in from homeschooling. And so I had sent her, what I do is I send her these thumbnail picture ideas before we start. And she didn't get to put them up.
Yeah, I had already set up the stream, so I couldn't go back and change it. But we'll go through and share a couple of them.
Right. But I think there's one, Lisa, that if you want to get started with, it's thumbnail number 2. It's the second one I sent you. If you can find it in the mess of your email.
Oh, Lord.
Are you looking at it?
Yes. Hold on.
I know, this is hilarious. Yes. So I
like that much better.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
Yeah. So the irony is that she actually wore a dress that was graffitied like this to the Met Gala. The tickets to the event were $35,000 a piece. And she wrote "Tax the Rich" on her dress. Now, Lisa, to show how out of touch she is with reality.
Lisa, and it's not even that. None of them had masks on.
Well, of course. It goes without saying. That was the other thing. So I didn't get very much news at all today, but except driving to and from school, because we're not allowed to have our phone at school. I did sneak at lunch trying to get like a couple. And anyway, but I thought there were 2 separate reports, and one was talking about that there's been an announcement from the NFL that no players will be forced or mandated to take the prick. Then, like literally a couple steps later, there's this announcement that these certain stadiums will require proof of pricks for you to attend the game. And I thought, wow, more rules for thee and not for me?
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was really interesting. And I wonder how people attending those games will feel about that, we're seeing this great divide between the elites, the haves and the have-nots. Like I said the other day, like our middle class went to China when they stole our manufacturing. And I think that we've been dumbed down to think, life's good enough for you. You just be happy that you're allowed to work, and you're allowed to just barely get by, and you're allowed to have your mortgage, and you're allowed to live month to month, and you're allowed to retire and then starve to death, on what Social Security we deem and decide to give to you from that point on. And the elites live in a different rule system. And I think there's more and more of that coming out that's becoming more obvious to people. And I think that's one of those things that I hope the general public hears both sides of that. and says,
So, Lisa, I swear to God, you were inside my head because this is basically the whole topic of the show today on
mm,
multiple levels. And there is actually some good news that I want to kind of show you guys, what I've been discovering, being down this rabbit hole in a very severe, deep way. But Lisa, you're absolutely right. But what's happening now is, I don't know if you guys saw the Boise sports football game in Boise, Idaho. Now, Idaho is very liberal. Did you see the young people saying F?
that wasn't the only place. I played on Twitter. There was a couple montages of several stadiums, and not only stadiums, but now it's starting to trend in nightclubs.
Mhm.
So they'll be out partying, and the F, who will come up, which I just think and it's that college chant, da na na na,
Right.
it's
And
pretty
these are
awesome.
young people, you guys. So what's really, really good, it's easy to come from my generation to say that. But for the young people, we need them to see, Lisa, like you and I have spoken about so much, this is the Great Awakening.
Mhm.
We need them to see that this is not about Trump.
Well, can
This
you
is
imagine getting out of college, being in their situation, or being in college, trying to have your college days, and this is what the hoops you have
right.
to jump through, and you're not getting to have those same kind of college experiences. You're having the great infection experience, not the college experience. And then on top of it, the ones that are graduating and leaving, all of these, you'll probably bring it up, but we saw that the Congress people, their staff, and I'm sure you have an article with the complete list, are not not affected by or not being held to these mandates that all federal workers are, but all the other federal workers, all our teachers, all our healthcare, and you're seeing nurses pushing back.
Mhm.
All the working class people are having this different standard. And then you think about these youth that are in college going to look at jobs, and it's like, now I'm facing that. That's my
Oh,
decision.
yeah.
After I've just gone to school, and now I'm in debt up to my eyes to be a nurse.
Right.
And now I have to
Right.
go do that to my body to be able to pay for all this debt that I've just incurred. Like it should outrage people. And I think that's the point of it.
Well, first of all, the protests across the globe, not just in America, for the anti-jab and also this. You're looking at countries like Brazil, which are typically socialist. Um,
They're all saying that Idaho's very conservative.
well, this is really interesting. And I know a lot of people that moved from LA, the liberals that left LA and they went to Idaho. So I don't know why, because they won't come here to Arizona, the really liberal people.
Oh, they come to Texas and then try to take over Austin. The liberals, they screw up where they live, and
Okay.
then they go raid the
They go someplace else.
conservatives. Yeah, yeah, this happens all the time. Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
anyway, I had just heard that it's very, that's just what I had heard, that there's all these liberals there
Maybe in the cities or
yeah,
something, or
yeah,
in
I don't,
maybe
yeah,
more,
but that's good. That's good.
there.
That's good.
So good to know.
So anyway, Lisa, now what I want to do is I kind of want to just recoup so we can,
Yeah.
I can stay organized so I don't
Yes,
get
yes,
lost.
yes.
There's
Yeah,
so
you have to
much.
remember this is the first time I got to, like, talk to adults about political things all day. Other than I had every parent catch me in the hallway or walk by or give me a hug or a squeeze and say, "I love your hat." And I said,
See?
"Why are you whispering?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I just didn't know." And I said, I mean, it's okay to love your country. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And so a couple of them, I got to have some really cool conversations with them. And they were like, "Yeah, I shouldn't be ashamed to love America." And I'm like, "Yeah." So it was
Well,
really
this is
interesting.
the good news is, you guys, is, and I'm going to show you a lot of stuff, stuff you can share, as usual, stuff that a lot of you guys in this audience know. But this is how crazy making it is. Like when I read what I read, like sometimes, like I'm like, okay, am I possibly losing my mind, or have I lost my mind? Like maybe I need a 5150 because all this is beyond upside down. So what I did today is I had to take myself back to ground zero because this is so crazy, the information coming out. And I've got some of that to show you guys beyond what you normally see. Yes, we'll talk about Arizona, and yes, we'll talk about
Oh, the
California, Newsom.
one of the things that you sent me, I'm just reading through the email.
Mhm.
We have to be very careful talking about.
Which one? All of it.
I got in huge trouble on Facebook, and I got not a strike, but a warning
Uh-oh.
for when we talked about when they held people accountable for things against humanity.
Oh, so yes. Okay.
So we have to be careful with that.
I'll be really, really careful about
Okay.
that. And I know what you're talking
They
about.
did not like that.
Oh, I'll bet they didn't, because you know why? The truth hurts.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's a pain point. It's a pain point. So anyway, Lisa, thumbnail number one, I want you, if you can find it.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to ground zero because I thought, okay, what am I going to do here for me? We have our liberties, we have our rights, then we have all these mandates, which are not laws, coming down from the administration. We have poisons that, we're being told that we have to put into our body if we want to do anything anymore. It's getting more and more draconian by the day. We all know all that, okay? There's no end in sight. The liberties are being cut left and right. No one seems to know where it begins, where it ends. So I started right here today, this morning, and I took a couple hours, and I went through two things that we're going to talk about and just kind of give you guys some information. This document here, I cannot encourage you guys enough to get a little copy or put one on your phone. I got mine from the National Archives in Washington, D.C. I want to show you guys this because it's not some hippy dippy, watered down, modified version of this. This is the original that I'm going to read to you. We're going to start out with, because I'm going to start every day 2 minutes, 4 minutes in the morning over a cup of coffee, or before you go to bed at night. Let's bring us back to our roots. This is who we are. This is what we have, and this is the law that I'm going under. Because this right now is the rule, because everybody in DC has lost their minds. And it's a crime scene up there. Okay? So I went in this morning, and I want to read you just a few seconds of this, because this, I think, is going to lower everybody's blood pressure. I think it's also going to ground us in a sense that we've forgotten, you guys, what we were given by our founding fathers and what we were given by God. We've forgotten because they have brainwashed us so far out of the zone that it's making people lose their minds and do things that even 6 months ago were unheard of which we're going to take a look at later in the show. So I am starting at the beginning of the Declaration of Independence. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinion of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Rights is capitalized, you guys. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving, you guys, their just powers from the consent of the governed. That means the people. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Happiness, you guys. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that government long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and that accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing an invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right.
That's a lot of, we have to go back and unpack that sentence.
Okay. It is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. You guys, this is just the very, 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 very beginning. And my kitty's eating my toes. Hold on. Dot, come over here. Anyway, I just
very
got
cute.
this little, say hi, Dot, wave. Hi. Hi. She's like Rascal Pants. She bites my toes. She gets in my computer.
Oh, I'm sure.
All my computer cords, so if we go
and they always know when you're on a phone call or when you're, it's just like kids. Yeah.
Okay, so she has to go away. I'm going to see if I can get rid of her. So yes, there's a lot to unpack here. But you guys, the basics are this. This is what we have right now. This was written. This is so brilliant. And that's just the first basically opening salvo. We get to decide, and we have unalienable rights. Now, Lisa, I looked up the word liberty. I know what it means, but I sent you an email, and I want you to put that up on the screen because that's very important. We know life, we know pursuit of happiness, but let's look at that term liberty because it's a very interesting word and it applies legally here under this code of conduct. Do you have it? Can you see it?
Is it where you put tweet for Constitution, Declaration of Independence to start topic?
You know what? Let's try it.
Let me see. No, that's not it.
Here it is. Liberty. It just says liberty in the subject line. It's a screenshot.
Oh, okay.
See it? Do you see it?
Way up there. Yeah. I've got
it. It's right there. And I looked it up because I thought this was very interesting. And I know we all think we know what it means. But it says the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. So, trying to get rid of my kitty here. This to me right now is exactly what is being infringed on. My life, my liberty, and everything here, and my pursuit of happiness with these draconian measures that we're not even sure are constitutional to begin with. Okay?
Well, I know they're not in Oklahoma. In fact, Cannon just came home from his dad's and he said, "Mom, you're not going to believe this." He said, "But the kids at my old school, they're making them wear masks." And we have in Oklahoma, our governor made a ban on federal mandates for masks and mandated jabs. And so the school district is going against our state's
Right.
Mm-hmm. orders. And so there's now going to be lawsuits. They may get defunded. I'm like, do
Right.
it.
Right. Right. And this, Lisa, I looked. Now, by the way, Constitution, I want to hit on this couple of things here. Same book from the National Archives, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I spent about 2 hours in here this morning. This is heavy. It's, our founding fathers, I think a couple of them were lawyers. I mean, this is very lawyer-esque. It's not this right here, the Declaration of Independence. This thing is beautiful. It's very kind of easy to understand. Although, Lisa, you said you had some questions.
I was going to say that one. Well, it's been a long day. I followed you until we got into one sentence, and then I was like, oh, wait, there's a couple. I should have been paying better attention.
So why don't you let's unpack the one you wanted to talk? Because to me, that beginning part that I read covers everything.
Yeah, it's at the very, very end, like maybe the second or third sentence to the last. It was like something about, I want to say deplorable, but that's not right.
No, okay. And I know I mispronounced a couple of words, you guys. I'm really sorry. But I've got this little cat biting my toes, and she is insistent on playing right now. So
like, I know you're talking to someone, so it sounds
right.
like fun.
So I really have to bother you right now. Okay. I think this is the part I like. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, when they've usurped their control,
right,
usurp means to seize. Okay. I think that's what's happening right now in America. Oh, globally. But we're talking about our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence. So we got to stay here in America right now. Pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism. So what that says, okay, yes. What they're saying here is that they're designing to reduce through these abuses. Our freedoms. That's how Lisa, if anybody in the chat has a take on this, it is their right, meaning our right, America, the people. This part I love. It is my right, Lisa, and your right. And it is our duty to throw off such government. Let me say this again, throw off. Now, is that insurrection? Is it WAR? Is it the Second Amendment? I don't know what they mean by that. And to provide new guards for their future security. Can we please talk about the southern border? I don't think we're being secured at the southern border by our commander in chief. Not. He is not securing our borders. Let me tell you something. The Afghan refugees, and I feel for humanity, they're coming into America by the hundreds of thousands, and we are not they say they're being vetted. Some states are vetting, some aren't. No masks, no vaccines. I think we talked about this last week, Lisa. No background checks, no history on these people.
Well, and now we not only have the borders, but we had all the flights coming in from Afghanistan that they were supposedly being vetted in other countries. And then I had heard one report that wasn't happening.
Right. So the point here is that I wanted to bring you guys back to this because after I started reading, especially the Declaration of Independence, I started to feel like I could breathe again. I was like, okay, let's frame this up again, because what's happening is we're all getting pulled. We're getting pulled by the PSYOP. I don't know if I can say this word, Lisa. Like the old TV channels that people used to turn on at night and watch before bed. I don't even know if I can say that anymore. The news. a certain amount of the normies, as Cliff would call them, I do believe at this point there is such a brainwashing that's taken place. I don't know if we can get those people under control. I don't even know that they're thinking rationally. It is, Lisa, I sent you a video, and this is kind of heartbreaking, but I want to make a point of what I'm talking about. I am not against safety for people. I'm not against medicine. I'm not against doctors. But this has gone way beyond. So I sent you a video. I saw this, it took my breath away. It's the last one I sent you today. It's American Airlines.
Oh, so it's not the doctor.
Yeah, turns plane around. There's a short clip of what happened on an American Airlines flight that like brought me to my knees. And there's a video of this, Lisa. If you open that up, that link up.
Okay.
And I hope it clicks through. You don't get a 404 on that.
During, oh, that's ridiculous.
So there's a few.
Make sure I get. Hold on.
Okay. Okay.
I'd like to send your browser notifications so we can bypass big tech. No thanks. Hold on. There's like they put all this junk.
Oh, did they put
of the screen? Yeah.
Okay.
Like
All right.
sign up for our newsletter. And
Oh, right.
here's another ad and
Right.
all this.
Okay, great. Now, if you scroll down, Lisa, I want you guys to listen to this. Keep scrolling. And then there'll be the little video. Keep going. Go past. There we go. Keep going. See the little, okay.
Mhm.
If you can read, they wrote in what the pilot or the flight attendant was saying. Understand that they have said that this 2-year child is an unruly passenger. They are referring to this child as an unruly passenger, 2 years old. Click on this, Lisa.
Oh my God, I can't. Bless their heart.
I know. They turned this flight around and landed under the auspice of an unruly passenger.
And then had police waiting in the hallway to terrify and terrorize a 2-year-old who's having a medical attack.
Yes, and can't breathe. Oh, by the way, I used to have asthma, and that's what happens. If anyone's ever had asthma, it feels like someone's suffocating you. And this child couldn't breathe with a mask on.
You know, I posted something the other day where they were talking about pricking 5 to 11-year-olds in a country. And I said, God will not have mercy on people that go after children.
Right. But here's the situation, you guys.
Sick.
This display right here, we don't know.
American Airlines should be held accountable for that behavior. Pilot, that flight attendant. I mean,
now here's the deal.
Ridiculous.
They're saying that. See, my question is it's now getting into the court of laws. Is it okay? Is it legal for the airline to do that? I say if we go back to a federal, in other words, their FAA, which is federal, it goes back to this and the Constitution. they're infringing on the rights of that child to breathe air. So what is happening right now, and I sent you, Lisa, DeSantos. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
Florida law, right? It was right next to that one.
Okay.
Florida law, and this is just the headlines, but this is just great. See, DeSantos gets it. He gets it.
What you put in the, I
And
need
the
to know what you
subject
put
line,
in the
Lisa,
subject line. Yeah.
violates Florida law. Violates Florida law in the subject line. You'll see it right there. So I sent you so many. I'm so sorry. I just couldn't.
That's okay. I'll find it.
Yeah, it's right up. It's right up where the other ones. It's towards the end of the ones I sent you. So don't go to the ones earlier this morning, but the ones that closer towards the
Yeah,
end.
I have photo of heroes, jabless.
Yeah, keep going towards. Keeps going towards the. Do you want me to resend it to you? I can forward it.
Yeah, because I don't have it. I have 14th Amendment.
Okay, it's all right. It might have gone to your junk. You never know. Or they might have taken it out. Who knows?
I was going to say yeah.
Okay, so I just sent it.
Oh,
I want to talk a little bit about the governors while Lisa's pulling that up. What I can't find in the Constitution is the relationship between the state and the federal's ability to mandate under emergency orders things like the jab, the face diaper, what just happened on American Airlines. And this gentleman here, DeSantos, really gets it. Now, I read this article. You guys can read it if you want. You don't have to. Basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. He is standing up and has, made a bold statement that Florida is an anti-jab state. It is unconstitutional according to the state of Florida, not the federal. So I got to assume DeSantos is, I'm going to assume, a whole lot smarter than I am in terms of knowing the constitutional relationship between the state's constitution and the federal constitution. Okay. I also have to assume that he's been legally advised, whereas I have not. I'm just an American trying to use the tools that I have and use the critical thinking to apply them to today, because they don't want us looking at this stuff, you guys. They don't want us looking at this. But that's my rule book that I go under, because that's all we got right now. And we're very close to losing that. But DeSantos is now saying that any small employee that demands under 100 people, which is what Joey said last week on Friday, he just comes out and says, well, this is what's going to happen. And DeSantos fires back and says, bullshit. And in fact, if you do that, you're going to get fined $5,000. And people who own small business say, oh, well, try to fine me, but you don't understand. You have a business banking account. And then they'll put a lien on your bank account. Trust me, they'll put a lien on your bank account. So you don't want a $5,000 fine, because then they add penalties and interest and all this stuff if you don't pay it right away. So he's not playing. He is not playing. This is what we need right now. We need to see our law in motion, in action, by people who are willing to stand up. Now, Lisa, can you do me a favor and put on the picture of what I said, the heroes?
Yeah.
I love this picture. I just practically could cry every time I see it. And I know you guys have probably seen similar ones, but I really want to point out who the real heroes are. We just had 9/11, and we know who the heroes of 9/11 were. We know that. The people that gave of their lives to save other people. Well, today, in my opinion, these are our heroes. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of nurses and doctors are walking off the job.
Also military, also teachers, if you go in, I had pulled up the full, when I heard Joey had a 6-point plan, I went up and pulled up the plan. It's a lot more than 6 points.
Right.
And we can go through it all, but you guys are capable of doing that all yourselves, and we'll probably just get in trouble for going over it. But this is federal workers, hospital, healthcare settings, people going to entertaining venues, but apparently not the ones running around on the field. The employer thing, we saw that. That was another thing. Staff in Head Start departments, defense schools, Bureau of Indian Educated Operated Schools to be vaccinated. Whoops, I said the B word, sorry. All school employees. I mean, it goes on and on. So this is, once again, an attack on
Our
our
liberty.
workforce.
Well, it's an
Well,
attack on our liberty, Lisa.
it's an attack on everyday American
Yes.
people.
Now,
to be able to work and provide for your family. And
yes,
yeah,
these people, and I want to say this because it has to be acknowledged, these are our modern day soldiers. Every day I hear, because for those of you that don't know, I have my career for 25 years was staffing. And I ran 2 staffing agencies, nationwide staffing. So I was almost like a labor lawyer, like really close. And in fact, I probably knew more because I knew what it played out in the real day-to-day life. People take their careers exceedingly seriously, especially in IT, finance and accounting, healthcare. We did all of that. You just don't walk off the job. I mean, these people here, these medical people are very committed, especially nurses.
mm-hmm.
They are so brave. And other people in other jobs.
Yeah, can you imagine? They were the ones walking into this unknown. They were the ones treating the people with
Yes.
the illness when there was not an option to get a prick.
Right.
And they showed up day after day after day. And now that there's a choice, or should be a choice, they're being told there's no choice and you're just going to do it. And it's like, well, I showed up all those days when there wasn't an option, and my choice then was to not come to work, and they showed up, and now they're not being given a choice. And here's the other thing. So many of them have had it. I mean, it has a 98% recovery rate. We have to
Right.
remember that so many people are naturally, or have recovered, and so have natural immunities from that. And so it's just, yeah.
Well, see, and this is part of the Great Awakening.
Mhm.
They're closing down, and Ronnie, I want to address that absolutely. They're closing down the delivery wards of many hospitals. So I don't know. I guess those mothers are going to have their babies at home. But yes, holistic medicine is going to be huge. In fact, I'm fingers crossed and prayers for me. I'm really seriously considering opening a holistic holistic health center up near Sedona. I've got an offer, and I may be pursuing that, and God willing, that might happen. And that will be alternatives for people who will be treated that are unjabbed. We will not turn people away, regardless of their status. Okay. So we do have heroes in America right now. I also want to say that I saw over the weekend in New York City on the Brooklyn Bridge, it wasn't full, but there were people marching across the Brooklyn Bridge that were protesting the jabs and the face diapers. Never in a million years did I think I would see that in New York City. It is people now, and Lisa, this is what you always said. You always said this. They're going to have to get in enough pain. And when you're brave enough to say to your employer, I'm out, game over, that's pain. And I want to thank those people, wherever they may be, whether they hear this or they don't. They are these are Americans. These are people that understand their God-given rights. I I also saw something really cute. I couldn't help myself. And Lisa, I think you can find this. It says source, jobless jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pull that up? I just think this is fantastic. And I want to show you guys this because you may know of someone who is, I had to, being in the staffing, I couldn't. This brilliant woman is opening this job board called Jobless Jobs.
Very smart.
Isn't this, this is a woman after my own heart. Here we go. So please look this. I don't know if this job board is going to be great or not great, but I will promise you where there's one, there's others. So for those of you that are electing to exercise your Declaration of Independent right, God-given rights, Google, I can't say the word, but you know what I'm saying,
Yes.
unpricked jobs, employers. Trust me when I tell you this. Trust me. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are going to be so many employers that would love to have,
Mm-hmm.
let's just call it clean people, clean, because I feel you're tainted once you get the mRNA. So we'll just call it clean. You won't be unemployed forever. So please don't lose hope. Please, 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 please don't lose hope. So this was really exciting when I saw that.
This is great news for people because I think people think, well, I'm gonna get in that situation, and it is a sacrifice, and you are, but that you're ultimately choosing your health and your family and your freedom.
Yes.
Is what
Yes.
you're giving up, and so when everyone makes that decision for themselves, it's exciting to know, because I think then they think, oh, I got to figure this out on my own. But you don't.
No, you
There's
don't.
other
You don't.
people in the community that are forming, that are doing things like this, finding, employment services, different things like that. So that is really encouraging.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, when I first made my choice and let my family know, because I'm the only one in my family that is not doing what the others are doing. And there's a big family event coming up in April. I probably won't be able to attend. I was considered an anti-jabber. I was called that by my family. And I kind of felt like isolated. When I look at the pictures, I had pictures, Lisa, I didn't send you, but of Brazil. You can Google it or go to Twitter. Now, Brazil, as I understand it, and I do know a tremendous about the Brazilian culture because I have a lot of Brazilian friends.
I made a big statement that I'm moving to Brazil.
Yeah. Well, they are really standing up now. And
Yeah.
the protests, I couldn't believe the pictures. There had
Not
to have
only the
been
protests, but their president said, I will not mandate them unless Pfizer agrees to be held accountable for side
accountable
effects.
legally. Yeah.
And I thought that was significant.
Bolsonaro, right.
Yeah.
Bolsonaro, absolutely. So Brazil is having their moment. They are really, because when I really started understanding a lot about Brazil, they were a little bit more socialist. And now they're swinging and they're seeing the damage. And the Brazilian people are so beautiful, the country's so beautiful. But I was proud over the weekend to see these pictures, much like the pictures that we're seeing across the United States, across Europe, in Middle European blocks, Greece. People are now putting their foot down. And this is the great awakening, Lisa, that you were talking about, that we've been talking about. They had to see it for themselves.
Yeah, it's incredible that it had to get this.
I
just wanted to bring up really quick. I know we brought up Florida, also Texas Attorney General is filing lawsuits against school districts that have defied Governor Abbott's executive order prohibiting entities, schools, whatever, from requiring indoor masks. So I'm sure that's what's happening in Oklahoma as well.
Right.
We seem to be the little sister of Texas.
14th Amendment, Lisa, if you want to pull that up really quick. This is something that you guys might want to keep on your phone, just around you when you feel like you're losing your marbles. This is the 14th Amendment, and this is law, okay? All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. Pretty basic. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privilege or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. That is a strong statement of protection. Now, Lisa, if you can go to Biden mandate,
Mm-hmm.
okay? If you go to the Biden mandate and click on that screenshot, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, bastard.
Okay. I have reason to believe that this is unconstitutional. I think Joey has stepped way beyond what's going to hold up in a court of law. And unfortunately, I think we're going to have many courts of law because they are just not going to back down. They're not going to back down. This is unconscionable what this man is doing. And, oh, by the way, what about the doctors that took the Hippocratic Oath that are working at the VA? They're supposed to treat anybody no matter what. That's part of their medical license oath.
Yeah, I heard there was one doctor the other day that she sent out a message to her saying she would no longer treat anybody not pricked after a certain day. And then she would only do like video calls from this point forward with those people or something. And I'm like, well, how are you going to prick them?
Right.
If you won't see them. And it's just incredible. Yeah.
Lisa, if you go to the VAERS website,
Mm-hmm.
screenshot show, you guys all know what the VAERS website is.
It's a prick reporting website, but it is voluntary. And so if these are the numbers, I promise you that there are a lot more people that don't know how to jump on there and report themselves and all
exactly. That. So you can add this times 10 or maybe even 20 or 30. But for people that say, oh, it's FDA approved, oh, it's safe, I need to be protected, you're irresponsible because you're not doing it. This is just the tip of the iceberg right here, you guys, according to Cliff's data.
Well, and it's my understanding, and I don't know if this actually reflects it, but it was my understanding that that in this reporting and in the CDC reporting, they are not counting any death that happens 15 days after a prick. Mm-hmm. They're saying that, well, that has nothing to do with the prick because it wasn't fully effective yet for 15 days or whatever.
Yes. So within the 15, so how it works, Lisa, is between day 0 and day 15, if you die, mm-hmm. they don't consider you vaxxed because it hasn't really taken it into your system. Yeah. Now, by the way, many.
But then they're not reporting all of those deaths.
Right.
As associated with the.
If you're a young 12-year-old boy, they're very high incident of enlarged hearts for these mm-hmm. children, and they are dying within hours of being.
Yeah, I saw one of the most heartbreaking videos of, which I will not play because we've had enough heartbreaking videos today, but this D1 college football player, he's had the prick, and now I don't know if he had a heart attack, but he's now like hospitalized with mm-hmm. heart issues and going to lose his scholarship. His whole future of football and college and all that is destroyed for.
Yeah. So this whole narrative surrounding, like when people throw on you, oh, you're really, really irresponsible. You don't care about the safety of others. That's fake, phony, and false. Fake, phony, and false. Totally fake, phony, and false. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Jason, I'm looking at yours. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. The last thing, Lisa, I wanted to, for my work that I wanted to leave you guys with is, oh, you got to leave it to CNN. You just got to leave it to CNN. Every once in a while I have to look because I've got to know what a lot of my friends and family are watching that they believe is gospel because CNN said it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little video to play. I don't know how many of you have seen it. I finally brought myself to watch it. I was appalled. And after I watched that, it made me understand how important it is that each one of us do what we can do to hold the line with our constitutional and civil rights, because, man, they're going to take them all. And can you say FEMA camps? Can you say re-education camps? Can you say Australia?
There was the most terrifying, and I don't know if I retweeted it or not because it freaked me out. In Australia, they had built those camps, and there was a guy who was hearing somebody freak out because they were supposed to be quarantined for 14 days, and after the 14th day, they were not released. And so the person was like losing it in the apartment. And so then this guy is sending, so I guess he was allowed to take his phone because you're supposedly not in prison. You're just being quarantined for
Right.
your health and safety
Right.
of others. And so this dude was like flipping out next door to him. And then he started worrying. He's like, I'm supposed to be able to get out of here in 2 days. So what happens when my time is up?
Right.
Are they going to let me out?
Right.
And the other guy was like, I don't know, beating holes in the wall and like really.
Remember,
what
guys,
would you do if you were?
They don't have this. We do. There's also a thing called the Second Amendment.
Yeah, thank God.
Don't ever forget that.
Yeah. So what should I look for to find?
Okay, so this, Lisa, we're going to close out on Doctor on CNN.
Okay.
Play video. It's just a small clip. It's about 2 minutes. I think most of you, if you haven't seen it, it gives you this, what they're thinking and how far off track this whole thing has gone. And that's why we need each other. We need to keep rounding ourselves back into reality.
I absolutely think we should have that requirement. I think it was a major oversight on the part of the Biden administration to not issue this yesterday. And we have to talk about the reason. The reason isn't so much that we need to keep our train travel and plane travel even safer. They are pretty safe, although I definitely think that having a vaccine requirement would make it even safer and probably encourage many people who are vaccinated or who have young kids and want to protect them. Maybe it'll help to encourage those people to start traveling again. But there's an even bigger reason too, which is I think we really need to make it clear that there are privileges associated with being an American, that if you wish to have these privileges, you need to get vaccinated. Travel and having the right to travel interstate, it's not a constitutional right as far as I know to board a plane. And so saying that if you want to stay unvaccinated, that's your choice. But if you want to travel, you better go get that vaccine.
Dr. Wynn, Jeff.
Insane.
Right?
It actually is constitutional.
Right.
Your liberty is your ability to move around. You can ask my ex-husband because the judge used that term. Said, sir, we're talking about your liberty here. You need to pay up.
Go get him, Lisa.
I'm going to get every dig in I can on the jerk.
Right. Well, okay, so here on CNN, she's talking like she's some kind of constitutional lawyer. She's a talking head. And then remember, guys, there's a whole world out there, whether it's on CNN, whether it's on Fox, whether it's on MSNBC, a whole world is still listening to that. They haven't had the moment that mother had on that American Airlines flight with that baby that couldn't breathe, basically, because that's what asthma is.
Oh, yeah, I can't imagine.
You don't tell me that mother didn't have an experience that will change her forever. So
I think she handles herself extremely well, by the way, to that mother. My heart goes out to you. My hat goes off to you because you kept yourself together, because I promise you, all she was thinking about is the safety of her child and her not being separated from her child. Because if
right,
she had gotten upset or anything past that, they could have come in and detained her and separated her from her child. And, she would have been in a strange airport somewhere, whatever. So the fact that although her child was in distress, she was handling it the best way she could, coping the best way she could, and kept her. And I think that's another thing that, Uncle Cliff asked us to, tell everybody, like, we are going to see some stuff that's going to enrage you. We all need to not let our emotions overtake us. We need to use our critical thinking, because they want us triggered by emotion and reacting, and then boom, they've got a reason to lock you up. So
exactly, Lisa.
this is really important that we look at this example. She's a beautiful example. She knew that is not the time. That's not the time you have the fight and the argument. When the
Right.
cop pulls you over and you didn't do anything wrong, that is not the time to have the argument. You say,
Right.
yes, sir, you sign the ticket, and you go to court, where
Right.
you have a third party in a safe environment to defend yourself. And that, I give so much kudos to that mother. And I think all
I
of us could learn a lot.
couldn't agree with you more, Lisa. And she's another hero.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
absolutely.
seeing this play out across America. And what aren't we seeing? So again, I hope you guys can share this video. I really, really hope that this information is helping you make choices for your family, for you, giving you some inspiration. People are waking up, you guys. They are waking up. We still have a huge voter fraud issue, and I'm afraid that the recall in California, they're never going to let that go through. They're going to tamper with that just like they did 2020. But that's another conversation for another day. That's a big battle that's got to go through the Supreme Court. Until we get that resolved, we really are we're holding on for dear life.
Definitely. Thank you so much for all the research you did, Amy. I can always count on you. It's a great day, great information for everybody, I hope. You guys make sure we are starting to sell more tickets. Tickets sales are picking up for the Texas event. I'm really excited about. John Kim will be there. Clint Westwood will be there. Little old me will be there. Pimpy from Pimpy's Investment Chats will be there. The Public Awakening will be there. Mitch from the Campfire podcast and his new Mitch's Motivational Mondays will be there. My hunky hubby will be there. So we're going to have a great time. Hopefully you guys can join us. We do have to have all the tickets purchased. We have to shut down ticket sales at least 3 days before the event, because we have to have the list of people attending the event to security at the building 2 days before the event. So there will not be any opportunity to buy any tickets at the door. So if you show up at the building, you cannot come in. So please, 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 we hope everybody that plans on or anticipates joining us will go ahead and purchase a ticket. And we really hope to see you there. So I'm super excited about it. So we've got so much coming up. And then quickly, yes, Open Minded Bitcoin says he's going to see me in Utah. Then the next week we're in Utah with Ben at the Bitcoin conference at the Utah College. So I'm super excited about that. Jim Montgomery's coming. Yay! So we'll have a great time. And it is an intimate group. We're only allowed to have 75 people in the room, and that has to include security and bartenders, catering, the whole bit. And so my guess is we'll all end up kind of, hanging out together afterwards too. But anyway, looking forward to seeing everybody there. Hope everybody has a great day. Let's see, did I cover everything I was supposed to cover? Oh, join my Patreon. This month's giveaway is the Litecoin shot glasses. So we've got 2 Litecoin shot glasses that DGB created, and he did this custom box for them. They're etched with a Litecoin symbol on them. Have a cute little box. Super great. I paid $60 in Litecoin for them back on, I don't remember the date. Oh, I should have written down how much Litecoin exactly. I'll go back and look in my wallet and maybe put that on the card or something so you guys will know how much Litecoin I paid for them. And then somebody will win that. That's a Patreon member. So I really appreciate that support. That's really helps the channel keep going. So love to you all. And we will see you guys tomorrow on Woo Woo Wednesday. So take care. Bye.